Hello, everyone. Hello from Brazil. I'm happy to be here with you remotely today, being part of this very interesting panel. I'll be sharing with you in the next couple of slides a little bit of the Latin American and Caribbean scholarly publishing landscape. First of all, I would like to share with you the results of a survey carried out last year in the frame of Latmetrics meeting we had, and the creation where there was also the creation of the Latin American Association of Scientific Editors. This survey was carried out with more than 300 journal editors. And this is to show to you that Latin American and Caribbean journals are academic and public. They are mainly published by public universities. They are diamond open access. They are open access and they don't charge the author. And they are mainly regionally indexed. And they are not, the majority of them don't have an impact factor and are not indexed in Web of Science and Scopus, but are indexed, as you can see here in the graph, by local indexing databases called Latindex, Redalyc, and Cielo. So about open access, open data, and open science, national policies and guidelines, I can share with you that we have 4 countries in the region that have a national plan, a national strategy in the form of a law about open access to what is produced with public funds. And we have other countries with different level of commitment or formal commitment to this matter. One of the challenges we are all facing, globally facing, but also in the region, we have specificities that make the challenges maybe particular, is that the transition to open access, or the movement from open access, which is very established in the region, to a more wide vision, which is aligned with the UNESCO, because this is the UNESCO recommendations are being cited by everybody in the region. This brings to us some, these transitions or this movement brings to us some concerns. So first of all, in the left side, some of the asymmetries that we see that are seen in the region, and how to face these asymmetries, or some of the good things that we have in the region. Some of the asymmetries are the digital gap and the unequal development of the countries. Not all the countries have the same readiness to a fully digital adoption of the open science principles. There is also the language barrier, because English is considered to be the unique code of for interoperability. Another issue is the academic evaluation is based mainly in impact factor or the presence in international databases. And there are some new asymmetries that are emerging from the open access with APC model. On the other hand, we have some strengths in the region. One of those is the infrastructures I just mentioned to you before. There are these indexing databases and collections and portals that are collaborative and community-owned initiatives. We have the multilingualism and the bibliodiversity and the interculturality aspects of what this of a very equal open science environment, as social science are very strong here in the region, and they publish mainly in books. Another strength we have in the region is or challenge is that we are discussing, there are being discussed a lot of alternatives to the impact factor, especially for evaluating the trajectory of researchers or institutions. And also another positive point is the wide adoption of the diamond open access in the region, because of the characteristics of the research here. So talking a little bit about the journals, as this is one paper that is being published recently, analyzing the journals of the Redalic and collection and Cielo collection together, showing one more time not only what we've seen before, that the majority of journals are published in at the university, but what is interesting here to see is that commercial publishers, either local commercial publishers, small commercial publishers, or what it's called by the authors, the oligopolistic publishers, is really a small percentage of the journals. So 90% of the journals that are in this collection are Diamond open access, 10% charge APCs, are open access but charge APCs. These are mainly from Brazil, where we see also a movement to abandon the Portuguese as a language of publication, and we see an increase of the number of articles in English, which is considered in the region to be like a loss. We are missing a big part of the landscape when we eliminate one language and in favor of another. So these journals that charge APCs, they are mainly from Brazil, and their APCs are significantly lower than the ones charged by the publishers. And also we see an effort from the journals, the editors, to favor Brazilian researchers by applying different fees to students, independent of the type of documents as well. So here on the right, you can see the journals that are in the directory of open access journals. You can see here that in Latin America, the majority of journals are in green, which means that they are Diamond open access journals. There are a little bit of APC-based journals in this collection. And also some countries are discussing, bringing to the table, is the open access APC model sustainable? And they are starting to evaluate the amounts of money they are putting on this model. So about multilingualism, I would like just to share with you, this is also a report on the Oliva database, so Cielo plus Redalic, and we can see here the number and percentage of articles of each language in indexing databases, Scopus, Web of Science, and Cielo and Redalic together, and then you have Spanish, Portuguese, English, or other languages. The first important thing is that from the almost 800,000 articles that are in the Oliva collection, almost 44% are in Spanish, 32% in Portuguese, and 24% in English. But when we start looking closer to these numbers, what is interesting to see is that when we see this Spanish, for example, it represents 44% of the articles in the Oliva collection, and only 1.5% in Scopus, and less than 1% in Web of Science. If you look at the total number, you can see it's very similar from Oliva to Scopus, but significantly higher in Oliva than in Web of Science. When we look at Portuguese, this is even more striking, because the proportions of this language in Web of Science is less than 0.5, the same in Scopus, so very, very badly represented. And the total numbers also are what we find in Portuguese in Oliva database is twice what we find in Scopus and Web of Science. So just to leave you with some trends and priorities from the region of what I have been listening, reading, and discussing with people. So the region is one of the highest adopters of open access, and the majority of the journals are Diamond open access. So one of the priorities of the region is to strengthen the open access and the open science as a de facto standard for the region. Talking about research information infrastructure, because this is our the databases that I mentioned to you before, indexing databases. So there is a need to strengthen this local publishing infrastructure, increasing their interoperability, and making sure that it captures the totality of what is produced in the region and make it more visible, reusable, and citable. Third point, multilingualism and bibliodiversity are being a lot discussed in the region, specifically the role of books in evaluation processes and the role of social sciences and the importance of social sciences in the region. Also, the fourth point important is the national journals and the evaluation system, because there is a discrepancy, there is some kind of disalignment between how the evaluation is carried out, what is considered for the evaluation, which is, as I said before, tends to be related to publications in journals with high impact factors or journals that are in Scopus and Web of Science. And these policies de-evaluate, not value the national journals or journals indexed in regional databases. So there is a discussion about the needed change in the evaluation systems to promote and to value national journals. And to leave you with that, to think, there is a lot being discussed about the national journals' sustainability and the importance of strengthening the diamond open access versus APCs, versus open access with APCs, or transformative agreements, which are considered in the region not to be sustainable. So thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to the discussion section.